This article titled Palestine and Quaid-e-Azam has been published by Hamid Mir in Jang newspaper on the 17th of September 2020. According to Hamid Mir, in today's democracy, no matter how many flaws there are, but in this democracy, if the judiciary and the media are independent, it becomes difficult to establish a dictatorship in the name of democracy. Something similar is happening in Israel today. Netanyahu has been Israel's prime minister since 2009. He is accused of using undemocratic tactics to perpetuate his rule, but the free media interfered. The media exposed the corruption of Netanyahu and his wife and demanded that a case be filed against Netanyahu and that he be punished by a court. US President Donald Trump came to his aid in this predicament and he started supporting Netanyahu last year in the name of Middle East peace plan. In 2018, the United States moved its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem in violation of UN resolutions on Palestine, but the Trump administration's decision has greatly benefited Netanyahu. Netanyahu could not get a clear majority. He had to make an agreement with the opposition under which Netanyahu would be the Prime Minister of Israel for 1.5 years and the leader of the opposition for 1.5 years. Netanyahu became Prime Minister, but in May 2020 a trial in a Jerusalem court began on corruption charges. A recording of Netanyahu's conversation with the owner of an Israeli newspaper has also come to light in which he is conspiring against another newspaper. In this situation, Trump is once again helping them. The Trump administration has benefited from Israel's diplomatic relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, and has given Netanyahu considerable political clout. Oman is also being pressured to establish diplomatic relations with Israel. The Trump administration is persuading various Arab countries to engage with Israel in the name of peace in the Middle East, but protests against anyone who declares friendship with Israel begin in the occupied Palestinian territories because of Trump's proposals. The purpose of the Middle East plan is not to solve the Palestinian problem, but to gain political advantage for itself and Netanyahu. Becoming part of the plan on which the oppressed Palestinians find themselves is not an attempt to establish peace, but to help Netanyahu and Trump. Trump has advanced his so-called Middle East plan ahead of the US election in November this year and is seeking a breakthrough in Afghan peace talks, but the Afghan Taliban are moving very cautiously. I will talk about the real plan of the American policymakers about Afghanistan at another time. For now, it is to suggest that Netanyahu wants Pakistan and Saudi Arabia to recognize Israel by some end of this year. If that happens, Netanyahu will become a hero in Israel and it will be very difficult for him to pursue corruption cases. There is no doubt that Israel has been trying to get Pakistan to recognize it since 1948, but the background to Netanyahu's efforts is very different. In 2015, Netanyahu revealed that the mastermind of Hitler's anti-Jewish actions in World War II was the Grand Mufti of Palestine, Sayyid Amin al-Husseini. Netanyahu's claim was refuted by many Israeli intellectuals, but immediately after the claim, a pro-BJP Indian intellectual, Aravinandan Neelakandan, claimed that Allama Iqbal, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Mufti Amin al-Husseini were in fact Hitler's anti-Jewish ideology was supportive, and that is why the name Palestine was used repeatedly in the Pakistan movement. This Indian intellectual also used the pictures of Mufti Amin al-Husseini with Quaid-e-Azam and Liaqat Ali Khan well, but he forgot that the All India Muslim League started mentioning the issue of Palestine not during the Second World War but during the First World War. The annual meeting of the All India Muslim League in Calcutta, the 30th of December, the 1st of January 1917, called for the first time to ensure the security of Jerusalem. The meeting was presided over by a picture of Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar as he was in jail. At the 1918 annual meeting in Delhi, chaired by A.K. Fazlullah, the Muslim League condemned the British occupation of Jerusalem and Nahaf Ashraf, and the Balfour Declaration held at the 23rd annual meeting, 1933, in Delhi was also rejected. Meanwhile, Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar died in London and was buried by Mufti Amin al-Husseini in the compound of Jerusalem. On his grave is inscribed, Muhammad Ali al-Hindi. Some Israeli researchers claim that Mufti Ali al-Husseini was given secret financial support by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, but according to All India Muslim League records, the Palestine Fund was not secret but provided to Mufti Amin al-Husseini by collecting donations from ordinary Muslims. Correspondence between Mufti Sahib and Quaid-e-Azam is available in Quaid-e-Azam papers. Nothing is secret. According to a declassified CIA report, when Mufti Amin al-Husseini came to Pakistan in 1951, he not only went to the Ori sector of Azad Kashmir and supported the Kashmir independence movement, but also went to Kabul and for Pak-Afghan friendship. Tried to. The government of Pakistan also took Mufti Sahib to Wana, where he asked the tribal elders of Waziristan to strengthen the state of Pakistan. The British government had declared Mufti Sahib a war criminal, and this man wanted by the British became a guest of the government of Pakistan. After the assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan, the Mufti did not come to Pakistan, but Netanyahu still wants this Palestinian scholar who is wanted by Britain. The leadership of Tehreek-e-Pakistan with this Palestinian scholar is a slap in the face to all those who consider Allama Iqbal and Quaid-e-Azam as allies of the British and are now fighting for the friendship of Pakistan and Israel. Recognizing Israel without resolving the Palestinian issue does not mean protecting Pakistan's interests. It is protecting the interests of Netanyahu and Trump. So, disagree with Prime Minister Imran Khan, but by refusing to recognize Israel, he is following the path of Quaid-e-Azam. Keep in mind that protecting media freedom is also Quaid-e-Azam's way. This was it for today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and share with your friends.